Hi everybody, Rosematter here, and welcome to part 81 of my Umineko Let's Play. Last episode, it just got sadder and sadder as we slowly saw Shannon losing hope of being able to see Badler again after he made his promise to her, and then he just got into that fight with his father after he married Kyrie and, found out that they were having a kid. So then begins the 6 years away from Rokujima. And when you see it from Shannon's point of view, it's just so sad that she just keeps on holding out hope and believing that it's like a trial from God to test her resolve. And then finally, she kind of gave up hope, gave her love of Badler to Beatrice, kind of like a metaphorical freeing herself of Badler so she can move on with her life, get with George. And then, Beato said that she will instead give her a brother, Canon, to who will never betray her. So that was interesting, but more interesting is that we're finally going to get into the epitaph. So that is where we left off with the first reveal of the epitaph. And I'm very excited after, all of this time, hours and hours and hours of reading the story to finally get an answer to the epitaph, hopefully. So I'm super excited for that. So without further ado, let's get back into the story and let's see what happens next. Oh my gosh, will this be the moment here? Will we finally get to see the riddle solved? Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved home of old. You who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key.
Kinzoの故郷の川を下れば鍵が見つかるとでも言うのか?
As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two speak of. There the key to the golden land sleeps.
川を下れば里もあろうが、二人が口にする騎士とは何か?
Is that like related to the house that he kept the OG Beato at in secret? You who laid hand upon the key must journey as follows to the golden land. So those who do not have the key need not read the rest. I do not understand it, but that's how this riddle is. It's practically unsolvable, so solving it would be a miracle. That much makes sense. No, I felt a stabbing pain in my body. The anti-magic toxin had burned my skin. Some humans probably approaching. I erased my form. Multiple sets of footsteps approached. It was Genji, Shannon, and Canon too.
皆、非分の謎解きに夢中なようだな。
はい。使用人たちの中にも非分を書き写して持ち帰り、謎解きに挑む者が多いようです。
本当にあの謎を解くと10トンの黄金が見つかるのでしょうか？
うん、それは間違いない。
わかりません。どうして親方様は大切な黄金の隠し場所を謎めいた非分とはいえ、こうして誰もが目にできる場所にさらすのでしょう。
それが親方様の魔法であり賭けだ。親方様はこの難解な謎を解いた者はベアトリーチェ様の魂を宿すと信じている。
不思議な賭け、いえ魔法ですね。
オカルト狂いも行き着くところまで行ったってわけだ。
そんなこと言っちゃダメ。
非分の謎に挑む資格は全ての者に許されている。無論それは使用人も例外ではない。お前は挑んでいるのか？
いえ、こんな難しい謎私にはさっぱりですし、それに10トンも黄金があっても特に使い道も思いつきませんし、私は今の穏やかな日がいつまでも続いてくれればそれで十分だと思ってます。
姉さんは最近ジョージ様と
Hey, so now we've got the mention of George. Okay, so this happened in the past year when she quote-unquote gave up her love for Badler to Beatrice. She was able to move on.
浮かれて 変なドジしなきゃいいけど。
そんなことありません。
With a backward glance at this conversation, Genji walked up to the portrait and looked up at the witch. When they saw what Genji was doing, Shannon and Cannon immediately went silent. Genji, who was the head of the servants, the closest in age to Kinzo, and the one whom Kinzo called a friend, probably understood Kinzo's heart better than anyone else. What did he think when he looked up at this portrait? Neither Shannon nor Cannon could tell. I mean, it's regret, right? Like, he knew what Kinzo was doing to her, his daughter, and I'm sure he has regret for not doing anything about it.
懐かしき故郷を貫く鮎の川
Suddenly, Genji started reciting the epitaph. Shannon quickly nodded to show she was listening, but it wasn't clear whether he was talking to her at all. Genji, his back still to them, continued.
親方様が懐かしむ故郷は小田原ではない。
遠方にお住まいだったと聞いたことがあります。
どこかは存じませんが。
台湾だ。
Taiwan, okay. Genji turned around and spoke that single word, so everybody is on the wrong path. Is Genji just straight up, like, giving them, I guess, like, Shannon, right? Because, like, if she's his daughter, what would she be at that point? Was she... Okay, so that always throws me off, too, because he would be... The baby would be both his daughter and granddaughter? No? I don't know. But either way, like, maybe he knows that who Shannon is, so it's just like, I'm gonna give you not the answer, but like, I'm gonna kind of give you a push to solve the riddle, and that way you will learn the truth. I don't know. Maybe that's his way of trying to make it up to the baby for what happened.
なるほど。やっとクラウス様の話がつながったよ。ほら、親方様が好まれる便道。
Okay, because everybody seems to think Odawara. Does Kraus think it's Taiwan?
そういえばクラウス様、あれは台湾ではタバコのようにポピュラーな嗜好品だとおっしゃってましたっけ。
Alright, well, this is the most I've gotten towards solving the epitaph in a long time, so that's something.
それで親方様は便道を。
Many Japanese moved to this land in the half-century before the war. Kinzo's family was a branch family of the Ushiramiyas. Apparently, they were only distantly related to the head family, so they were able to immigrate to this new world with dreams of a new future. Without being constrained by the head family in Odawara, Shannon and Cannon nodded their understanding, but they didn't know why Genji had suddenly broached the subject.
では、親方様の故郷の台湾に鮎の泳ぐ川があって、そこに鍵があるということでしょうか。
姉さんはバカだな。鮎の泳ぐ川なんていくらでもあるに決まってる。
わからないよ。
I bet sweet fish must be a code for something. Maybe it's the kanji of sweet fish. Obviously, I don't know Japanese, and people have said it's very dependent. Like, you have to understand Japanese language and the like to be able to even have a hope of solving this. So I'm guessing it's something to do with, like, the way the kanji's written could be interpreted as something else.
親方様が台湾のどちらにお住まいだったかは知らないけれど。
I think Rosa mentioned that when her and
川が
Badler,
一つしかないのかもしれない。
in one episode, they were trying to figure it out, where I think Rosa said that she thought it could be like the kanji could have like another meaning.
だったらそこってことになるじゃない。
姉さんは楽観的だな。そんな簡単なことで謎が解けるものか。
親方様の魔法の儀式は挑む者が多いほどにその力を増すと仰せだ。お前も挑戦してみなさい。
He's really pushing for Shannon specifically, right? He knows that she's the child, so he like wants her to solve it.
誰にも等しく機会は与えられているのだ。
No mention of Cannon, though.
はい。
どうせ解けないさ。くだらない。
Genji spun around. Shannon and Cannon hurried to follow after him. When his footsteps receded and silence returned, a gold butterfly flitted out from among the shadows.
「
台湾とな。ほう、随分と遠くに住んでいたものよ。
Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved home of old. In other words, a sweet fish river running through my beloved Taiwan.
台湾に川などいくらでも
Think of how much easier this would be to figure out if they had access to the internet back in the 1980s.
カノンの言う通りではないか。バカバカしい。
Because like when Ava solved it, she had to go through books. Maybe like she was looking through like geography or something. So she must have figured out that Taiwan was what he was referring to because she solved it. However, the word Taiwan interests me. I'm just so happy we're finally getting to the like meat and potatoes of the epitaph. We're really breaking it down here. How could it not mean something when Genji, a man of few words, had muttered it unprompted? Clearly, Genji must have said it in connection with the epitaph's riddle, almost as though it was a hint for solving it.
バカらしいとは思いつつも、よかろうぞ源氏。そなたの茶番にしばし付き合おうではないか。
Taiwan. I have traveled the world these past 1,000 years, but I know nothing of the place.
無知を補うには知識の結晶に頼るが一番。それは薄く伸ばされて何枚にも重ねて閉じられて書物と呼ばれているのだ。
Where might I find a book about Taiwan? Kinzo study is the first place that comes to mind if one is looking for books. But that won't work. The charm on that door prevents me from entering. In that case, the book archive. Kinzo's vast library grows each year. It can no longer be completely contained within his study, so a portion of it is stored in a place called the book archive. Of course, there are countless books just in this place. The archive has everything from valuable books to apparently worthless books, all packed together like an antique shop. There was a golden glint in the keyhole of the archive's door, and a gold butterfly flitted out.
相も変わらずひどい匂いのする部屋よ。ほこり、カビ。なるほど。知識とはこういう匂いなのか。
Well now, how can I find a book on Taiwan amongst all this? The prospect is almost dizzying. However, I realized right away, if I wanted to quickly find out about Taiwanese rivers, I didn't want a book on Taiwan.
地図帳ではないか。
That's probably what Ava looked
そ
at.
のくらいどこかにありそうであるな。探せ、我が眷属の長たちよ。この誇り臭く誇り高き知識の墓所より、わらわの探す本を探し出せ。
A cloud of countless gold butterflies appeared at my feet. They rose in a swell, blew like the wind, and swirled around the archive. Eventually, the cloud of butterflies selected a single book. Apparently, this was the one.
ご苦労であるぞ。うん。世界の地図帳、アジア編であるか。ぴったりであるな。
It was a grand, thick, illustrated encyclopedia of maps, several volumes long. There was a thick section devoted to Taiwan. It seemed sufficiently useful as a reference.
台湾と南北 394km、東西 144km、面積約36,000平方キロメートル。ほほう、なかなかに広大であるな。
By area, that's about the same size as Kyushu in Japan. This led Beato to a very natural question.
金蔵はこれほどの広大な島のどこに住んでいたというのか。源氏は台湾とは言ったが、台湾のどことは言わなかったぞ。これは迂闊であった。
Beato had imagined without much thought that the riddle would be solved in a flash if only she could look at a map of Taiwan. However, Taiwan is no small place. Just which part of this large island did Kinzo call his beloved home of old? I imagine somewhere on the shoreline, because he said something about the shores, something like that, so maybe it's along the outside. I mean, you can't expect Genji to give you too much of the answers. looking through books in this dusty archive, sometimes having to cough, while the simple problem obstructed my progress, was by no means enjoyable.
一番大きな都市は台北か。かつては大正町なるところに日本人たちが住んでいたとの記述もあるぞ。金蔵もやはりここに住んでいたのであろうか。いやいや、そう決めつけるのは早計であるぞ。その
I'll skip to the next part before I settle on anything more specific than just Taiwan itself. A sweet fish river running through the home of old. What's this? There are 129 rivers in Taiwan.
129本。この中のどれだけに鮎が泳いでいたやら。考えただけでもめまいがするわ。
Genji must have been muttering nonsense to himself after all. I only thought he was giving a hint about the epitaph.
黄金に目のくらんだ愚か者への褒美は誇りまみれというわけか。源氏め、やってくれるわ。
I tossed the book aside, used magic to turn a bookshelf into a sofa, and plopped down on top of it. For a while, I gazed up at the ceiling as I grumbled about getting tricked. Then I cast my eyes down at the floor, thinking I would feel a lot better if I gathered all this room's dust, packed it into a ball, and tossed it into Genji's teacup. A book I had thrown away lay open on the ground. A gold butterfly alighted on that one open page. Tossing a book at random and reading an oracle from the page it happens to open is one kind of charm. I see, so that page might have some sort of hint. Not entirely convinced, I picked the book up. The open page was probably very near the one I had been reading. It seemed to be a page explaining Taiwan's geography. Oddly enough, it was a page about rivers and lakes.
川が129本あることはすでに承知しておるわ。まだ他にもわらわに伝えたいことがあるというのか？
There were 6 major rivers listed. Zioshio River, Gaoping River, Tomsui River. I'm saying all of these wrong, probably. I apologize. Daijia River, Zhengwen River, Dadu River.
ほう。さて、これらの川には鮎は住めたのか否か。
Then I had a shocking realization. Sweet fish are freshwater fish. And you don't find ocean water in rivers, unless it's extremely dirty or blocked by a dam. Any river might have sweet fish in it.
バカらしい。川ならどこだって淡水だ。鮎の住めぬ道理はないわ。そう考えれば、この淡水がなる川のバカらしいことよ。川に淡水が流れるのは当然であろうが。淡水以外が流れて初めてそれを川の名にすればよかろうに。
Tomsui River flows from Taipei to the harbor town of Tomsui. I see, it isn't called that because of the water in it, but because of the town at its mouth. As you travel down it, you'll see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two speak of. I realize that this is stupid, and yet something about this town seems off. Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved home of old. That line should be talking about one of the 129 rivers. Sweet fish are freshwater fish. And here's this freshwater river flowing down to a town called Freshwater. I do think I'm stretching it. Or is this some kind of hint? I've come all the way to this archive and even got myself covered in dust in my search for books. If I give up now, it will all have been a waste of time. Very well. Why don't I test my luck and see if this random page the book opened to contains a message from above? I turn to the next page, trying to search in even greater detail. Oh, it does seem pretty... a river literally called Freshwater River.
そして使用人たちはみんなこの謎解きゲームに夢中でした。私もそのうちの一人に加わるだけのつもりでした。
熱中できる読み物を久しく失い、退屈していた私はその本を自室に持ち帰り、毎晩眺めました。
Well, as someone who likes mystery novels, I mean, what greater mystery could it be is an actual literal riddle that you have to solve by reading books to find the answer.
地図帳に碑文の謎のヒントが。
It's like all of her training reading those mystery novels. This is like the final test here.
第3のゲームでエヴァは書庫で何かの本を調べて謎を解いた。そして第5のゲームでフルドエリカは謎を解くために書庫で求めた本は地図帳だった。
ではやはり台湾の地図に何か秘密が。鮎の川とは淡水河を暗示していると信じました。地図で淡水河を毎日たどり、地形を細かく調べました。もちろん鮎の泳ぎそうな小さな渓流もいくつも調べました。でも何も分かりませんでした。
過去のゲームでの情報によるならそれは川じゃない。だが流れるものだ。エヴァはそう読み解いた。
Okay, so it's not a river, but something that flows.
川ではない。はい、結論から言えば
Okay.
淡水河とは無関係でした。しかしやはり今にして思えばあれは信託だったのです。淡水河自体は無関係でしたが、それはやはり大きなヒントになったのです。
If this whole episode is just it breaking down the epitaph, I will be happy with that because I'm so jazzed we're finally getting into the meat and potatoes of this, and I love the unveiling of the information as she just slowly discovers the truth.
川は無関係なのにヒントにはなると。
落ち着いて考えろ。川でなく流れるものを考えるんだ。
That flows but isn't a river. Does it have to be a body of water specifically? A waterfall? An ocean? Or oceans? Do they flow? A stream? It probably isn't even water at all. Okay, so it is something other than water.
何が思いつく？
Something. Okay, hold on. Let me think about this for a moment. What flows? This does feel like just like a one-off riddle. It's a whole thing like what flows but is not water? I don't know. I'm blanking. I can't think of anything.
発想を柔軟にしろ。
Think out of the cat box. Something that flows. Because I think like when I think of flowing, I think of like a liquid.
ウィル、謎かけごっこはもううんざりしてるわ。じらさないで教えちゃいなさいよ。
That's the readers being like, okay, stop talking in metaphors and puzzles and riddles.
あなたは解けたんでしょ？碑文。
I'm sorry, guys. You probably want me to try and like solve it myself. And you know, at least this one thing, but I can't think of anything. The only thing I could think of is like when people talk about the flow of traffic. So maybe it's a highway?
おそらくな。
水以外で流れるもの。もの？
Things?
物流？
Things being transported. Oh.
例えば街道とか道路とか。
What? I got it? Oh my goodness. I was just thinking of like when people talk about like, you know, the flow of traffic is good or bad.
正解です。
Oh my god.
鮎の皮が川そのものを刺さないことに気づくのに、私は膨大な時間をかけました。
そうだ。淡水の名がつく川以外のものがある。それは物や人が流れ、上りも下りもある。
上り下り。
Wait, up and down. That makes me think of like an elevator. That can't be it. Up and down. What is something that can transport something that can go? Because a highway, I don't think of up and down.
まさか。
What?
そうだ。鉄道だ。
Oh, a railway. Okay, I never would have guessed that. Up and down? Really? The Tomsui Line. It's a railway that goes from Taipei to Tomsui Harbor. It was opened in 1901. Okay, I see what you guys mean about how like you really have to understand like geography and Japanese, not even Japanese, but like you have to understand geography of very specific places to be able to even have a chance at solving this. I can see why you guys would be like, yeah, you're not going to get this. Afterwards, a number of stations continued to grow, and it became a major artery into Taipei. This railroad was used after the war as well, and is still in common use as the Taipei Metro Tomsui Line. Its route begins at Taipei Station and continues on until the town of Tomsui. Taipei Station. Chang'an Station, old name Taishogai Station. Oh boy. Shuanglian Station. Tatung Company Station. Yonshan Station. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Oh, these are all like the stops. Yontan Station. Old name Miyanoshita Station. Shailin Station. Shipei Station. Wow. That's a lot. That is a lot of. That's a lot of information. Ooh.
里があると。
淡水線の駅の中で
Ah.
里の名を持つ駅は
Okay.
この石灰駅しかない。
So I did suspect based on like a previous chapter, I think it was Rosa, where she thought it was something to do with like the kanji had something to do with it.
これは何と読むんでしょう。
霧岩駅と読む。戦後石灰駅に名を変えたが、金蔵が住んでいた当時は霧岩駅だった。
That's a lot of wow. I have to assume that's an old atlas that would have that information, because like Kinzo lived there a long time ago. So if it was an updated atlas, would they have that? Because once again, they don't have Google. They have to get this just from books and knowledge that they
川を
have.
下ればやがて里あり。その里にて二人が口にし岸を探れ。
里だけじゃなく岸まであるわね、その駅の名前。
果たしてその駅を示しているのか、短くない時間を悩みました。里という文字と岸という文字、なんとなく謎々の文字遊びのように感じていました。
このキリガンの一文字目の口辺の漢字、口の脇にあるこれはそのと読みますよね。
That
口にしで口の文字もあるし。
what the two speak of.
でも二人が口にしの意味がわからない。
The three characters of Kirigan could be split into a mouth, a that, a village, and a shore. Those all feature in the epitaph. In that village, look for the shore the two speak of. You can read it as a code for the name of the station. However, I don't understand the part about the two.
私もそこに引っかかりました。しかし、きっとこれを指し示すに違いないという強い信念がありました。
この駅名が旧名であるように、この地名も何か旧名があるのでは。
そうだ。もともと霧岩駅は地名から名付けられたものだ。そして地名の霧岩は駅名と違いこう書く。
あ、口が2つ。
調べればすぐにわかることでした。やはり碑文はこのキリガンのことを指し示していたのです。
ではここに黄金鏡の鍵が眠ってい
So
る。
that's only part one of this epitaph. There's still a lot more. There's a whole thing about the keys and all that.
普通に考えればそうなります。しかし台湾まではるばる行けるわけもなく、当然キリガンと呼ばれる土地も広大です。そのどこに小さな鍵が隠されているのか。
The key itself, once again, is probably a metaphor. Maybe it's a kanji hidden in another word or something.
途方に暮れました。
しかしお前は諦めなかったな。
碑文の少なくとも最初の5行については確実に答えを手に入れたと確信していましたから。
私にとってこれはもう何よりも面白い
Right? That's what I'm saying. She has been
いえ
working her whole life.
ミステリーでした。
She's been studying for this. She has an advantage over everybody else. Plus, I mean, literally, Genji giving her the, Taiwan to look there. Or was it Taipei? Taiwan. But I don't know if I said this before, but, like, I feel like Genji, because he knows about, like, Shannon and, the truth about her whole background and everything, maybe he, like, this was his way of, like, making it up to her, to give that hint, to be like, I want you to solve it because you've been through a lot, and maybe, like, you're the one who deserves to solve this riddle. I almost gave up at that point. However, I was certain I had the key in my hand, so I decided to follow the EPITAPH's instructions and journey to the Golden Land.
第一の晩に鍵の選び師6人を生贄に捧げよ。
この一文を見てわかることは、鍵とはすなわち6つの何かを示せるということだ。その時点で錠前に指す言葉通りの鍵ではないことが推理可能だ。
6つの何か。
はい、6つの何か。私も頭が固い人間でしたから、とにかく6に関わる何かがないかと本を読み漁りました。6キリガンという鍵のありかは言葉遊びによって隠されていました。ならばきっとこの6もまた言葉遊びに関わるに違いない。6探しました。6を。
このキリガンという文字が6つに分解できるとか。
いい推理だ。しかしこの3つの漢字といくらにらめっこしても答えは出ない。そもそもキリガンなんて読み方自体日本語読みだ。
では現地では何と。
Quilian.
チーリーアンと発音します。
You guys are gonna hear a lot of mispronunciations in this episode. I mean, if you've come with me this far on this journey, then you know I'm not good at pronouncing these names. But they're gonna probably be throwing a lot of like names at me of places and things. So just a heads up.
それは英語だと6文字。
6文字。じゃあやはりこれは言葉遊び。
第一の番に鍵の選びし6
6
文字を
letters
生贄
chosen
に
by the
捧げ
key.
ようって
Okay.
わけだ。
なるほど。
When explained like this, it sounds like the logic can be taken from beginning to end in no time at all. However, it took a long, long time for me to reach this spot on my own. So are they saying like to take those letters out of like the English alphabet? And then whatever letters are left over is like a word jumble to find the location of something? Because the whole thing is about finding the gold, right? So a dizzying number of nights passed from the time Genji uttered that single word to the time I got this far.
ではこの6文字を生贄に捧げるとは一体どういう意味でしょう。
続く第2の番以降は残されし者で話が進んでいく。何かの文字列から鍵の6文字を間引き、
Okay.
残った文字でどうこうしろと言っていることが推理できる。
しかし何から6文字を間引くのか、それにも長く悩みました。ここからはもはや新しいの。
Right? It's like she went to all that trouble to find that whole thing about the railroad, the railway, and now there's this part too.
誰の助けもなく、今度こそ自分の力だけで解かねばなりませんでした。
過去のゲームの中で確かローザおばさんが第一の番について何か仮説を立てていたような気がします。
第10の番の黄金の里に注目した推理だな。碑文の中には他に4度も黄金鏡という単語が登場するのに、なぜかこれ一つだけが黄金の里と記されている。
なぜ第10の番だけ黄金の里なのか、これに気づくのにも、そしてどうしてなのかに気づくのにも、これまた長い時間をかけました。
ローザの推理はこうだった。黄金の里を京と読み、京都の京と読み解いた。そして懐かしき故郷から京都までの10日かかる旅路を10分の1した視点に何か秘密があると疑った。いい推理だったが惜しかった。今日は京都以外にも読み解けたんだ。
今日を京都以外で読み解く。
難しく考えるな。そのままだ。
今日です。いえ、今日ではなく K と読みましょうか。数字の単位です。1、10、100、1000、万、億、兆 K。
Okay, 10,000.
数字の単位。
私の場合はこの六軒島にいるという地の利がありま
I'm
した
just at this point, I'm sitting back and I'm letting the game explain this to me. I'm really proud of myself that I managed to actually get the whole thing about the fact that it was like, it wasn't a road, but it was like I was kind of on the right path. But after this, I'm just like, I don't think I'm going to be able to figure anything else out.
K を思い当たるヒントはあったのです。私の場合は先に答えが分かってから逆に問題の意味が分かったという感じでした。
ややこしいことを言うとリオンが混乱する。
Leon, aka me, the reader, they're explaining in very, very detailed an explanation, but I'm still a little confused about some stuff.
話を戻そう。
It's amazing that multiple people were actually able to figure out this riddle.
第10の番に一景に至るならば、第1の番はいくつになる？
一景の10分の1ですから、船長。
正解だ。船長から鍵の選びし6文字
Oh
を
my
浴びた。
gosh. This is so complicated.
チーリーアンが英語である以上、船長も英語であろうとはすぐに察しました。
船長は英語ではクワドリリオン。第5のゲームでのバトラの推理通り11文字だ。いや、これはあんたの推理だったか。
くしくもこのスペルも冒頭は9、6文字の鍵の冒頭も9。きっとこれに違いないと直感しました。
Leon took a notepad from a pocket and spelled out quadrillion and quillion. The two words even looked similar at a glance.
確かにクワドリリオンの中には鍵が示す6文字が確かに含まれています。じゃあこの6文字を消すと。
We're left with 5 meaningless letters. Unless, hold on. Do you have to... I'm just trying to see if I can, like, move them around and create a word. I can't see any words there. We're left with 5 meaningless letters. However, the important thing is the number 5. After all, in the next part of the epitaph, the word kill appears 5 times. Then on the night twilight, none shall be left alive. In other words, there should be 5 letters left.
しかもこの5文字は第5のゲームでのバトラさんの推理通り寄り添っている文字があります。
Oh, the D and the R.
D と R です。
Like, pull apart the two who are close, right?
これが寄り添いし2人に違いない。
ここまで来ればもはや謎はほとんど解けたも同然。
逆に言えば碑文だけで解ける謎はここまでだ。この後言葉遊びを続けても答えはわかるかもしれねえが仕掛けは開かない。
そうです。ここまでが分かればあとはそれに従いえぐりて殺すのみです。
お前はその場所の心当たりの方が先だったわけだな。
はい。もともと碑文が現れるより以前からそこに黄金が隠されているのではないかと疑われてい
There
ま
was
し
like
た。
a pin pad, right? You had to punch in a number to get into the underground place where the gold was.
そしてそこに謎めいた一文があれば
The
きっと
chapel,
何か
yeah.
秘密が隠されているに違いないと思うのは当然のこと。
その場所とは。
黄金鏡の入り口を開ける仕掛けの場所だ。勘のいいやつなら鍵の選び師6人を生贄に捧げる第一の番がどこのことかもう察してるはずだ。
え、それは船長のことであって場所のことではないのでは。
船長と記された場所だ。お前は知ってるはず
Yeah,
だ
it's
が。
the chapel. That's right. I think it says something about quadrillion, but I can't remember what the actual thing was written on the front of the chapel.
それともクソ真面目に金蔵の言いつけを守り近寄らなかったから知らないというのか。
Well, the chapel, they're in it right now, aren't they? Oh. I'm trying to think. It was the chapel, right? It had something written above it, and people commented on it because it was also written in English, I think. All right, the day the witch revived. Oh, we're almost done
魔
here.
女のよみがえる日
Quadrillion. There's only one place you'll find that word on Rokonjima. Yeah, gold butterflies flitted from shadow to shadow, dodging raindrops.
わらわの記憶が間違っていなければ確かここで見た覚えがある
It was the chapel, that mysterious building, one of the oldest on Rokonjima, which had been built at the same time as the mansion. So they say that it was like the entranceway to the gold, but in one of the I can't remember which chapter it was, where they did a whole the red truth about how there's no secret passageway or secret doors or anything in the chapel itself. So it must unlock the mechanism. Because I'm trying to remember, how did they get to the bottom of the underground bunker? Where is the entranceway? Because there's like a spiral staircase or something to get down there. But I don't know where. I can't remember where Ava entered from. It was called the chapel, but not once had Kinzo used it for worship, and the members of the family had never been allowed inside. There were strict orders that none approach it without reason, and its purpose was always a mystery. However, any mystery will lose its luster after several decades. At some point, everyone forgot the chapel even existed, and that splendid building passed from the thoughts of Rokonjima's residents. Of course, this had been true for Beato as well. Beato, who hated boredom, had no desire to approach places that humans never went. Her last memory of the place was of the time she went in there to taunt Shannon as she tried to clean.
間違いないあれであるのクワドリリオン
Beato looked up above the door of the chapel. There was a relief displayed over an arch. English words were written there.
お前は1000兆分の1の確率でしか祝福されないあの謎を解ける者が現れる確率をそなたは1000兆という名の奇跡に見立てたのか
This chapel was built long ago. But there is a mechanism like the one I imagine. Kinzo must have prepared that epitaph riddle many decades ago. He must have been planning to use it as a ritual for choosing a fitting successor all this time. However, that ritual is now a ritual to open the door to the Golden Land and to my resurrection. When I snapped my fingers, the ground bulged and several dead trees sprouted out of it, curving and twisting like snakes. They twisted around each other to form a ladder, which leaned itself against the door.
わらわの想像通りならばあのレリーフが仕掛けだ
Slowly climbed the ladder. Because of the size of the door, the relief was very high up. This close up, it looks much bigger than it did from the ground.
そういえば礼拝堂を大掃除するときあの源氏がわざわざこのレリーフだけは自らの手で磨いて
So for people who are the servants, it feels like they would have an advantage over the rest of the family because of the fact that they have to clean the chapel, so they are aware of the chapel. Probably read that relief up there, and that Genji doesn't let anybody else touch it. That would be suspicious in itself. So you might not even have to solve that whole riddle. You just have to be like, that thing up there that Genji won't let anyone touch, maybe there's like some sort of button or something. So let me just go get a ladder and feel around and see if it unlocks something.
その程度のこと、なぜ若い使用人に任せぬのかと不思議に思っていたものだが。
I thought it strange, but nothing more. The master treasured this relief, so the head servant cared for it himself. I always accepted that excuse. But now I understand. There must be a trick to this relief. And Genji polished it himself to make sure no one else accidentally found out.
このクワドリリオンから鍵の選びし6文字を生贄に捧げるという。
I prodded and played with the letter Q. My fingertips were soon covered with dust. However, I quickly realized something felt strange about it.
この文字。マリア、そうでなくてはならん。でなくては生贄に捧げられぬからな。
Beato grabbed hold of the letter Q, and after experimenting with different levels of force, the letter came out with a scraping sound.
やはりな。
Here's the Q I pulled out. And there's a wedge. No, it's a key. A key was attached to the back of the Q, and that had been stuck into a keyhole in the relief.
そういうことか。ならば、あとはわかるぞ。よしよし、この Q の鍵は違う。お前は外れだ。
Beato carelessly tossed the Q key aside. Alright, so this is where you actually would probably need to solve the puzzle, because you'd see a key and be like, oh, that's the key. This was the first sacrifice. She kept on pulling out the keys for the 6 letters representing the key.
A も生贄であるな。そして I も2つ生贄だ。最後の N も生贄か。L は1文字を生贄であるが、困ったぞ。L は2つあるではないか。
There were 2 L's. I didn't know which I should sacrifice. I tried pulling both out, but the keys were of different shapes. So one is a right answer, and one is a wrong answer.
どうせ2通りしかない。誤りだったらもう片方を試せばいいだけのこと。
Unless messing up sets off a trap that blows up the island, of course. Thinking it was a waste of time to sit here worrying, I decided on the L on the right and pulled it out. 5 letters remained in the word.
これにて第1の番は終了だ。続いて第2の番。
On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close.
D と R が寄り添っているな。これを引き裂くとはいかに。抜けばよいのか。
But if I do, then there will only be 3 letters left. By this point, I was able to make a good guess at what the gouge and kill lines from the 4th twilight onwards meant.
えぐりて殺せはおそらく鍵をひねって回してから引き抜けという意味であるに違いない。となれば頭から足はおそらく左の文字鍵から右へ順にそれを行えという意味に違いあるまい。
If that's the case, 5 letters have to remain on the board. In other words, tear apart doesn't mean
そ
kill.
れで引き裂けと考えた場合、この D と R、2字の間隔を空けよと読み取れるな。しかし、またしてもやり方は2通りであるぞ。
Do I remove the D and move it to the left? Or do I remove the R and move it to the right? After pondering this for some time, I realized that both choices were wrong.
違う。そうではないのだ。さっきの L から間違っていた。
A short while ago, I removed the right of the 2 L's. However, if I'd removed the left one, it would look like this. If you line it up this way, it's easy to see the next step. The R gets shifted to the right. That way, all the letters are spread out evenly. This must be it.
そして次がまた難題であるぞ。我が名を称える。
I'm just imagining that this is Shannon up there, just doing all this, and then someone walks by and it was like, hey, what are you doing up there? It's already clear that this is a word game. Those who remain shall praise my noble name. I'm supposed to do something with the remaining 5 letters. Most likely rearrange them.
U, D,
Okay, so
R,
praise my
L,
name.
O.
Because there's Lord, Lord, But then there's the U there, because I'm like, noble name, I don't know.
この5文字をどうにかすると何かの意味になるということか。
Praise my name.
ここまで来てわけのわからぬ謎を。この5文字でどう
That man's name is Ushiromiya Kinzo. Is the U part of Ushiramiya? No, several letters don't match, and there aren't nearly enough letters to make Ushiramiya.
我が名とは金蔵を指すことだけは間違いない。ならばやはり U は後ろ宮を指すのか。イニシャルであるとか。ならば DRLO は何を意味する。金蔵も意味せん。RO でまさか六軒島を。六軒島の主金蔵。字数がまるで足らぬ。
I'm liking that she's going through her thought process of this. Like, rather than having everything figured out right away, like, she has to kind of, like, she's really got to think about it. And, like, we're thinking about it, too. And to see, like, can we get to the answer quicker than her? I probably can't, but this riddle left me totally confused. However, there were only 5 letters left. There can't be so many possible combinations of those letters. I could use process of elimination. Thinking I'd play around with it, I pulled out the U. There were 4 letters left. D, R, L, and O. My idea was that the U stood for Ushiramiya. No, my idea that the U stood for Ushiramiya was like a heavenly oracle. When I removed the U, I thought of making a word with the remaining 4 letters. Oh, it is Lord, right? Yes, Lord Ushiramiya. D, R, L, and O. Those 4 letters spun around in my head, changing their orders, and led me to a single English word that would serve to praise Kinzo. Lord!
ロードだ。
Yeah, I got it!
ロード。
I had absolutely no basis for it. However, it was like a flash of inspiration. I quickly changed the letters around before that flash faded from my mind. Lord U.
LORD ロード U 後ろ宮教どうか。第4の番に頭をえぐりって。
It was a key, so I wouldn't turn if it was the wrong one. But it did turn. I could gouge it. In the sound of scraping stone, I gouged the first letter, the L, and then pulled it out.
次第5の番胸をえぐりって殺せ。
The O was gouged and pulled out easily. Then the R, next the D, and finally the U. Hey, click! So, did something open up in the chapel? Oh. When I turned the key of the U, I could feel a resistance as though some mechanism had been activated. I waited for something to change, but nothing did. However, I had felt something happen. A secret door or something must have opened up somewhere around here. Waiting around won't accomplish anything. I've probably done everything I can here. All the letters in quadrillion have been removed.
第9の番に魔女はよみがえり誰も生き残れはしない。
So now, has the witch, have I, revived? The 10th twilight. The journey ends, and you shall reach the home of the gold. When I stepped down off the ladder and looked around, I immediately noticed that small change.
ライオンの像が。
At some point, the lion statue in front of the chapel had turned to face a different direction. Oh, is it pointing where I'm supposed to go? What an elaborate mechanism. Did Kinzo plan up this extravagant device back when he first started building on the island? I walked up to the lion statue and stared at it. Other than the fact it was pointing a different direction, nothing had changed. In that case, is the lion looking at something in particular now? I followed its line of sight and saw another lion statue. And that lion statue had also changed its direction.
なるほど。
Oh god, I wasn't expecting the creepy face.
ライオンの道案内に従えと金蔵め。 凝った仕掛けを作りおる。
I wasn't complaining anymore. I felt a bit of respect and awe at Kinzo for setting up such an intricate device and having it go undiscovered for all these years. There were lion statues standing like guards at the entrance and the corners of the chapel. The direction they faced had changed, pointing around to the back of the chapel. There was something there. Oh, is it leading her to Koidorian? Or is it just like a thing that opened up like a hatch? It was no longer a surprise. This was after the mechanism in the relief, after being guided by the lions. So when a gaping open secret passageway appeared, the stairs leading down to the darkness below, it wasn't surprising to me anymore. So it wasn't. So yeah, it couldn't have been in the chapel because there was a whole thing about there's no secret passageways, no secret entrances or anything like that. So it had to be outside the chapel.
.はい、長い長い時間をかけてたどり着いた黄金鏡でした。
過去のゲームによるならば、そこには地下の貴賓室があり、そして10トンの黄金が。
And she's not going to care about any of that gold. All she cares about is reviving as the witch.
はい、地下への武骨な階段を降りていくと、突き当たりには扉が。
It's funny that the person who ended up solving the mystery, the riddle, and getting the gold and getting to be the new head of the family was probably the person who wanted it the least.
中はまさに貴賓室と呼ぶべき美しき内装でした。
見つけたのは黄金だけだったのか。
はい、その時は積み上げられた黄金に目がくらまぬわけもありませんでした。
これは本物なのか。
I lightly touched the pile of gold with my finger. It was hard and cold. I had almost thought it might crumble like a sandcastle if I touched it. Now, there could be no doubt. This certainly was a 10-ton pile of gold ingots. Oh, how angry would the family be if they learned that little servant Shannon was the one who got it? Considering the amount of gold I just found, I figured I ought to be crying out in delight. I didn't really feel like laughing, but I thought it only good manners to do so in a situation like this, so I forced it out. Because of this, only a few feeble laughs slipped from my mouth. And then compare that to when the family found it, when Ava found it and everything, and they were just like crying and just screaming and so joyous, be like, all of our problems are solved. At that moment, even stronger than any delight, was a feeling as though I had entered a place I wasn't supposed to be. For a while, all I could do was stand there shocked, unsure what I should do now that the EPITAPH's riddle had been completed. Then I heard approaching footsteps. They were coming from the stairway I had entered by. It's probably like Genji or maybe even Kinzo, like maybe they got some sort of like alert that someone entered the VIP room, somebody solved the mystery. Someone was coming. Could it be Kinzo? If he finds out I've been in a place like this, won't I get scolded harshly? And who would think that except for like a servant? So it's got to be Shannon. Even though she solved the riddle, she's like, I'm a servant, I should not be here. I thought about hiding and pretending this never happened, but my legs wouldn't move. I kept standing there stunned in front of a pile of gold as the footsteps drew closer and closer. I know Beato thinks of herself as a witch, so it's more like, I don't want to be seen by a human, but... The door opened, and I saw who it was. It wasn't Kinzo. I had a feeling it was either going to be Kinzo or Genji. Because since he knew about all this, right? He's the only other person other than Kinzo that knows about this.
そなたは
自分の力だけでたどり着いたのか。
うん。
For some time, Genji stared at Beato in silence, as though he was calculating something. Then he slowly clapped his hands together. He did it again, over and over. It took quite a long time before I realized that he was applauding me.
親方様は碑文を最初に解いた者に黄金と家督のすべてを譲り渡すとおっしゃられた。
And obviously, she kept this a secret afterwards, like Kinzo died, but they still believe that, the epitaph hadn't been solved yet. But Beato kept it going for some reason.
そして
Still wanted people to solve
そ
the
の人
mystery.
物がベアトリーチェであると信じた。
Because she said, like, if it's solved, then I'll be revived or something. But she's supposed to be revived here.
ベアトリーチェ、私が。
これは運命だ。
Yeah, Genji's saying this not as person who's already Beatrice, but probably as Shannon, aka his child, was the one who solved it.
お前は今日を迎えるのが運命だったのだ。
I didn't really understand what Genji was saying. The shock of seeing the gold still had me paralyzed.
こっちへ来なさい。
はい。
And now she's gone back into kind of her little infantile voice. Genji opened a closet. Inside it was a dress form, wearing a beautiful dress made of black cloth and golden stitch. So literally, the person who does this will become Beatrice. What would happen if it was a dude who, like one of the sons, or like Goda, who solved it? When I saw it, I understood immediately. It was the witch's dress, the black dress worn by the Beatrice in the portrait.
これに着替えなさい。
Especially knowing how tall Goda is, it would be... that would be hilarious if he solved it and be like, put this dress on.
これは
かつてお前が着ていたものだ。
I've never worn a dress like this. However, I understood what Genji meant. This dress was one that Beatrice once wore. And the one who shows a miracle by solving the epitaph is Beatrice. By reaching this room, I had succeeded the position of the real Beatrice, the one in the portrait. Now, I assume she's probably going to go and meet up with Kinzo at some point. Now that she solved it, I wonder if Genji's going to stay by to be like, to see if Kinzo will confess his sins to her, or acknowledge who he is, or just make sure that he doesn't do anything funny. Why do I call myself Beatrice? Because the name of the Golden Witch who rules over Rokunjima's night is Beatrice. That's right. I was never the real Beatrice. I was a different witch, stealing the name of the witch from Kinzo's delusions. And now, I have become the real Beatrice. By solving the epitaph's riddle, I would achieve my resurrection. I was the one who decided on that rule, or so I thought. But as it turned out, this really was a ritual to resurrect Beatrice. I believed I could create my own fate with magic. I was a master of that magic, and yet fate had led me here by the hand. At this moment I was forced to truly accept and believe in this world called fate, or word called fate.
これを着たら
親方様のところへ行く。
Oh boy, that's not good.
支度をしなさい。
Ready yourself, that could mean so many things. I want Genji to stand by so there's nothing bad happens to her. I don't think it will. I think it's just he'll probably tell her the truth and maybe apologize.
はい。
親方様、源氏でございます。
After Genji knocked, the sound of the study's door unlocking could be heard. After a single glance telling me to wait, Genji entered alone.
このような日が来るとは、運命とは本当に
Yeah, they're saying fate, right? It's the fact that his child was the one who solved it. Kumasawa was with us too. I thought this dress, which didn't really suit me, would lead to a lot of jokes, but she didn't laugh at me at all. On the contrary, when she saw me, her expression had turned stern, as though a long-awaited day had finally come. My heart raced. It wasn't supposed to matter who solved the epitaph. There shouldn't be anything strange about me solving it. Everyone else maintained solemn expressions. And that, along with everything else, made this feel like some sort of grand ceremony. It's because probably Kinzo's going to tell her the truth about everything. The suffocating silence continued. Eventually, the door opened, and Genji peeked out.
お入りください、ベアトリーチェ様。
He was saying those words to me, but not to the person I had been until a short while ago.
さあどうぞベアトリーチェ様。
Kumasawa also urged me forward with a respectful bow. Kinzo was probably waiting for me inside. What expression should I wear as I go in? How should I greet him? I feel like we're going to get a lot of "Oh, Beatrice" from him. I don't have a clue. As the two of them motioned me forward, it was all I could do to avoid tripping over my dress as I walked.
金蔵さん、いらっしゃいましたぞ。
Kinzo was before the portrait of Beatrice, crouched on the ground as though kneeling. At Nanjo's words, he slowly turned around, still crouching. Immediately. Kinzo's eyes were already red with crying. When he saw me, he groaned with wonder.
Beatrice.
Had he even forgotten how to stand up? He crawled over to where I was. As he called out to me with the name of the woman he had loved long ago, I was too stunned to move. Then Kinzo grabbed the hem of my dress, gripped it tightly, then curled up and sobbed.
Beatrice. すまなかった。すまなかった。お前の心は分かっていたのに、私は何という。すまなかった。許しておくれ。許しておくれ。
Maybe Kinzo literally only died after this moment, when he's like, now that I've seen her, I can pass on. It's just like his sheer will kept him alive until he got to see Beatrice again. There was nothing I could say. However, just standing here like this was all I needed to do. Kinzo's moment of atonement, the moment he had spent half of his life searching for, had finally come. A human's life is packed with sin, so humans seek forgiveness while they still live. However, in most cases, there are none in this world capable of giving such forgiveness. It was like that for Kinzo. There was no longer anyone in the world who could give that to him, but a miracle had woven one together, and in this moment, he had obtained the impossible.
Oh, Beatrice! Beatrice!
I knew we were going to get a lot of those from him, but that's like all he's been saying pretty
た
much.
とえ許してくれなくてもいい。何も言わなくてもいい。私はお前にただ一言謝れればそれでよかった。
Kinzo kept grasping the dress's hem and sobbing. The sins of humans are not forgiven by other people. They find forgiveness through regret and repentance. I want to believe that some sin, some fault of his, has been forgiven thanks to the way I look. Kinzo's sobbing gradually ceased, and he slowly looked up at me and rose. He staggered. Nanjo rushed forward to support him.
よくぞ生きていてくれた。嬉しいぞ。
This time his words weren't directed through me, but at me. I hesitated, unsure how I should respond. Is he saying, like, you're alive? Is he talking, like, to the child that he thought died, not to Beatrice?
今日まで親方様に内密にしておりましたことを
It is, yeah, he's talking to
ど
the
うか
kid,
お許しください。
to his daughter.
よい。よいのだ源氏。私の犯した罪を思えば、今日までの日々はすべて贖罪のために必要な日々であったのだ。しかし、今日の奇跡は紛れもなく、本物の奇跡でございます。彼女は誰の助けもなく、自分だけの力で。
But that's the thing too, like, so assuming that this is, I think I've mentioned this before, like, assuming that, you know, she is the child that he thought died, but then in the other chapter when there was the whole, like, the mysterious man calling, why would Natsui not be surprised that it was a man and not a woman? Because, you know, she should have known that the baby was My mic cut out there. But yeah, like a girl, not a boy. So that's a little confusing.
誰よりも最初に碑文を解いたのです。
よくぞあの難解な碑文を解けたな。
はい。
母の声によく似ておる。面影も母や娘を思い出す。
Hey, back off, Kinzo. Back off.
紛れもなくお前にはベアトリーチェの血が流れておる。
はい、若き日のクワドリアンのお嬢様の面影がよく残っております。
Who are they saying I look like?
ベアトリーチェ様、これまであなたに
Oh,
も秘
here we
密に
go.
してきたことを
This might be the moment that just like completely fucked her up.
あなたはベアトリーチェ様と親方様よりお生まれになったのです。
真実でございます。あなた様は今日まで両親のいない子として育てられてまいりました。しかし本当のお父上は親方様、そして本当のお母上はベアトリーチェ様なのでございます。
それは本当に？
はい、あなたは本当にベアトリーチェ様のご子孫でございます。
Is such a strange fate really possible? I've dreamed about it. Dreamed about what it would be like to be the golden witch Beatrice. But that dream was for me alone. So I dreamed that if I solved the epitaph and carried out its ritual, I would revive as the true Beatrice. Is it really conceivable that after I solved it, Beatrice actually did revive?
私が本当にベアトリーチェの血を。
はい、一切の紛れはございません。
今日まで親子の愛情も知らず、さぞやおつらい思いをされてきたでしょう。にもかかわらず本当にご立派に育たれました。
皆さんは知ってたんですか？私のことを。
Genji, Kumasawa, and even Nanjo nodded wordlessly. Now that I think about it, that explains so many things. I was always in some way special. Genji, and especially Kumasawa, always treated me very kindly. Then, does that mean that this day is a promised day, which would eventually have come no matter what? I don't understand anything anymore. It's all God's miracle. The promised fate has led me to this day.
ベアトリーチェ、いや、リオン。
Leon. Okay, so yeah, that is. Oh, there's too many names. Shannon, Sayo, Claire, Leon.
そなたに与えようと思っていた名前だ。
あなたの
Your true
本
name.
当の名前で
All
ご
right.
ざいま
So
す。
from now on, we can say Leon, just to make things a little bit easier.
リオン、今こそそなたにベアトリーチェより与えられたすべてを返す。
I wonder if Kinzo would have been horribly disappointed if one of his other stupid kids figured it out. He's just like, God damn it, that's not who I wanted to solve the epitaph.
あの黄金もそれによって生み出された後ろ宮家のすべてもそなたに返そう。
Kinzo stuck out a wrinkled hand. On his finger was a ring with a one-winged eagle crest, which was the symbol of the Ushiromiya family head. He pulled it off, grasped it tightly, and then held it out to me. I didn't know what to do. Slowly, as though they were being drawn forward, I held out my hands, palm up. After pressing his fist against my cupped hands, Kinzo slowly opened his hand and let the ring drop.
我が子リオンよ、今日までお前の運命をもてあそんだのはすべて私の罪のせいだ。許しておくれ。そなたは今や我が指輪を受け継ぎ、正しく新しい後ろ宮家の当主である。あの黄金はすべてそなたのもの。好きに使い、今日までの日々の辛き思い出をわずかでも癒すがいい。あの程度の黄金、 私の犯した罪には到底及びはせぬが、それでもそなたを慰めるくらいはできるはずだ。
ありがとうござ。
リオ、最後に一つだけ頼みがある。
何でしょうか。
私を呼んでくれぬか。
What, Papa? Dad?
すみません。今なんと。
私
Our father.
をお父様と呼んでくれぬか。
Oh, shit. And that was the whole thing, right? When she kept calling Battler father. That's why she said it so much. Because Battler is definitely a representation of Kinzo to Chickbeito.
呼べぬ気持ちはわかる。私はそなたに何も父らしいことをしなかった。そしてそなたもまた父など知らずに育った。とても口にできる言葉ではないと分かっている。そしてそれを求める資格が私にないことも分かっている。だがそれを承知で頼む。それさえ聞けたなら、もう私に何の未練もない。
After being asked like that, was it possible for me to refuse? Even if I am his child, I cannot see him as my father, so I felt a strong resistance to saying that word, but I decided that saying it was the right thing to do. Only God can truly forgive sins, but though it may be temporary, people can be saved by the forgiveness of others.
お父様。
That awkward word made Kinzo laugh. Drops of silver fell from both his eyes. At that moment, the shadow that had covered his face was wiped away.
ありがとう、リオン、我が子よ。そしてベアトリーチェ。最後に許しを請う機会を与えてくれてありがとう。もちろんこれしきで許されたとは思いません。続きは地獄の豪華で焼かれながらとしようではないか。後ろ宮金蔵、我が生に一切の未練なし。
And he just drops dead right there.
もはや何もなし。心残りもやり残しも何もなし。
Looking up to the heavens, Kinzo spread his arms as though facing an applauding audience, laughing at the top of his lungs. It was the final pleasure known only by those who have been released from all regrets of this world. Kinzo's laugh weakened, and when it disappeared, he dropped to his knees. Oh shit, really? This is the moment I was right? Did he just die right now? He dropped to the knees like a puppet with its strings cut, and slowly fell to the ground. Oh my gosh.
親方様。
南條先生。
Nobody seems to all that surprised. Though their master had fallen, they walked up to him slowly. They already knew. Kinzo's soul had already burned itself out. After checking Kinzo's pulse, Nanjo shook his head and stood back up.
大往生だ。
I literally, just through sheer will, he survived long enough to meet his child and then just pieced out.
何の心残りもないだろう。
様はあるいはもうずっと以前にお亡くなりになっていたのです。それを親方様の魔法と執念で今日までを流らえていたに過ぎないのです。そして ベアトリーチェ様に謝罪する機会をようやく得て、全てを終えられたのでしょう。
安らかにお眠りください。あなたは罪を償われたと信じます。
お父様。
That was the one night reunion between me and my father, and also our final farewell.
この黄金はすべてあなたのものです。現金化をご希望でしたら、そのように手配することもできます。
200億円の
This music is so happy, but then knowing that she's gonna kill a bunch of people. I wonder if Kumasawa was like, hey, so I took really good care of you while you were growing up. Can I have, like, just one? Can I have one?
もうあんたにはこの世で
And same with
金
Nanjo.
で叶えられぬ
God damn it. I'm sorry, guys. My headphones are on their last leg. I promise I'm getting one soon. It's gonna be... I'm asking for it for Christmas for my husband because I hate these headphones and I just want to throw them away.
急にこんな大金が手に入っても使い道に困ってしまいますね。
お金で手に入れられるものの中に私の欲しいものはありません。
So everybody else is like, can we have it then? We have lots of things we could do with that
で
money.
すからこれは当分はそのままにしておこうと思います。
Of course, I'm glad to have a lot of money. However, money can't heal the pain in my heart. I just want him to come back.
かしこまりました。
And it's funny, just like Kinzo wanted Beatrice to come back, she wants Badler to come back.
では、そのようにいたし
So
ま
it's
す。
kind of like she took on the same weird, like, not the obsession to the degree of Kinzo, I imagine, but just that same kind of thing where it's just, they're just yearning for somebody and they have all this money in the world, but it doesn't matter.
それから、この鍵を、
これは
この地下貴賓室へ至る鍵です。これを使えば、もう仕掛けを使う必要はありません。
She was the only one who knew the answer to the EPITAPH's riddle, and the only key to this place was now hers. At this point, she truly was the master of this golden VIP room.
あなたはもはや、この六軒島の主です。この島のすべての秘密をお知りになられる資格があります。
クワドリアンのことも話すべきでしょうな。
あなたのお母上がお過ごしになられた隠し館です。お噂くらいはお聞きになったことがあるでしょう。
クワドリアン。
この島の両端には2つの屋敷があります。一方は私たちのよく知るお屋敷、もう一方はクワドリアンと呼ばれる隠し屋敷でございます。
この島の地下には戦争中に作られた基地の跡があるのです。お館様はそれを利用されて島の両端を行き来されておりました。
この部屋の奥に地下道があり、それを進めば島の反対側のクワドリアンの地下につながります。
So I imagine when Ava like solved the epitaph, she was told all this information by them, and that's how she knew how to get to Kuadorian, because they said at the end she was found at Kuadorian, and she was the only one who survived because the explosion that happened probably just killed everybody on this part of the island, where she managed to make it out safe.
親方様しかご存知でない秘密の屋敷です。もちろんその屋敷ももはや新しき当主のものです。
あんたのお母さんが暮らしていた屋敷だ。一度行ってみるのもいいだろう。
私のお母さん。
I've lived alone my whole life. The only person I've ever felt like calling mother was Kumasawa-san, who always helped me out. The mansion where a mother I've never met nor seen lived. Who in the world am I?
何でもお尋ねください。今のあなたには全てを知る資格がございます。
今は何が何だかわからなくて。 何から聞けばいいかもわかりません。でもきっとたくさん聞きたいことがこれから見つかると思います。その時教えてください。
かしこまりました。
あと、そんなにかしこまられると居心地が悪いです。
Because she's a servant,
こ
right?
れまでと同じ口調で話しかけてくれた方が嬉しいです。
So all this time, like, Shannon was just hanging out still as a servant while she was like, I'm saying Shannon, Leon, was just like kind of moonlighting as a servant the whole time, while being the master of everything.
それをお望みでしたら、そのようにもいたします。
私もその方が気楽です。
さて、これからどうするんだ、源氏さん。金蔵さんは亡くなった。
旦那様と奥様にお亡くなりになられたことをお伝えします。そしてリオン様が正式な当主後継者であることをお
Oh
伝えしな
shit,
くて
so
は
all
なり
this
ません。
time, so all this time Kraus and Natsui knew about that.
今日よりあなたが後ろ宮家当主なのですから。
That's interesting.
私が当主なんて。
Maybe she was like, I don't want that. They can be the head. I don't care. And then that's when maybe she decided to have the epitaph solved because she didn't want that responsibility more. So she's like, I want someone else to have that. I don't care about the gold. I don't care about being the head. Someone else can deal with that.
それに次期当主はクラウス様では。
But if that's the case, wouldn't she just be able to be like, as the new head, I will say Kraus is the new head rather than do this whole game again?
碑文の謎を解いた者が次期当主である。
Maybe that's where it's set in stone. Someone has to solve the epitaph. So she's like, all right, we're going to do it again.
これはお預かりしている遺言状にも明記してございます。
All right, that's why she's kind of like locked in.
親方様の最後の命令があなたに全てを引き継ぐことなのです。
待ってください。お気持ちは嬉しいですが、私には次期当主なんて務まりませんし、そんな退任とてもお引き受けできません。
That would be me. I'd be like, I don't want the responsibility. I'll just take the money and go.
その役目はやはりクラウス様が引き継がれる方がいいと思います。
よろしいのですか。
私は今日ここで
So she did say that he could be
自
the
分が
head.
誰かを知ることができました。人なら誰でも知っている両親のこと。私には生まれながらにしてそれがなかった。それを今日ここで得ることができました。それだけで私は十分なんです。
If I suddenly became the Ushiromiya family head, how would Kraus-sama react? How angry would Madame be? I don't want to become the head if it means making them feel like that. Today, I learned who I am. Pretty nice of her considering they bossed her around. Especially Natsui could be kind of like a little bit of a hard ass. If she really wanted to be petty, she could be like, you are going to be my servants now. Who gave birth to me? How and when? These are the things I want to learn from them as time goes by. That alone is enough.
私はリオン、そして黄金の魔女。
You're a lot of things.
それが分かっただけで私は十分です。私は当主を主張するつもりはありません。その役目はクラウス様に。
それは
So she
後
does
ろ宮
have...
家当主としてのご命令ですか。
Okay, so she does have the power to do this. So then what was with all of the... everything that... Huh. I'm just like, why was Kraus so, like... I've got to find the gold and all that stuff. I know it was because of his money issues, but, like, there was the whole thing about how he was so worried about someone else taking control of the head with the epitaph. But if she just literally told them, like, hey, so I'm giving you that role...
はい。
かしこまりました、親方様。では、そのようにいたします。
今夜のこともすべて内密にしてください。私はこれからも私のままでいます。
So Genji won't even say anything about how, like, Leon, about who she is.
私が後宮家の当主になって、あるいは黄金を手に入れて、 やりたいことなど何もないのですから。
I just...
この島でこれまでと
All
同
she wants is
じよう
Battler.
に待っていたいだけなのです。これまでと同じに。何も、それだけが私の望みです。
かしこまりました、親方様。今夜のことはすべてこの場限りの秘密といたします。熊沢、南條先生、新しき当主様はそうご希望でいらっしゃいます。
あんたがそうしたいというなら、私は何の異論もない。金蔵さんの遺言は、あんたに全てを委ねるだ。そのあんたがそれを望むなら。
これまでと同じようにと言いますけれど、本当にこれまでと同じように
Basically like her still being a
この
servant.
島で生活を続けられるのですか？これまでと何も変わらず。
はい、今夜のことは秘密にします。ここも黄金も封印します。もしもお金が必要になったら、その時改めて相談することにします。私にはそれで十分です。
かしこまりました。ここに至る仕掛けも鍵もすべてあなただけのものでございます。そして今夜のことは私ども一同秘密にすることを誓います。次期当主はクラウス様とな
So
ら
he
れ
will
ま
be
す
the successor. So there was no issue with him there.
私の中では真の当主様はあなただけでございます。ご命令に従い、これからもこれまでと同じように振る舞いますが、いつでもご用命ください。私の主は
ありがとうございます。
A vast mountain of gold and the ring of the Ushiromiya family head, the dress of the portrait Beatrice, and I became the true Beatrice, the Golden Witch, right here in my very own Golden Land. If I think about it, not much has actually changed. After all, I've always been the Golden Witch. I've just had a few more people acknowledge that. So that's the end of the book. I mean, it's definitely not the end of the events, but... So it's funny, I thought that she was going to be completely, I don't know, like she was going to lose her mind at that revelation, but if anything, she seems quite at peace with it. So there's still like what caused her to do what she did, you know? November 29th, the day I became a true witch.
I 我は黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ。この六軒島の真の支配者にして無限の黄金の所有者でも何も満たされず、たった一人の思い人が帰ってきてくれる日を待っています。
Alright, that was an amazing episode. We got the breakdown of the epitaph, which is exactly what I was hoping for. We got, like, everything that happened afterwards. The gold being given to Leon. I guess I can say Leon now. And that final moment with Kinzo, it just felt, like, very cathartic. To, like, wait for so long for that moment of, like, the revelation of everything that happened, then to get it just felt really awesome. And while a lot of questions have been answered, there's still some I have, like, we still don't really have, at least I don't understand why she still went through with the epitaph, with the ritual to resurrect the witch, where she seemed pretty, like, at peace with how everything ended, you know, getting to meet her father, learning the truth, and just wanting everything to go back to the way it was. The only thing that she's missing is Battler, but they said it was the fact Battler came back that screwed everything up. Like they said, if he hadn't come back, none of the events of 1986 would have happened. So I imagine that's going to be the next part of this, is what led to that, you know, what led to her doing that. And also, like, the question of if she says that Kraus will be the successor, then why was he still so concerned about, you know, seemingly not being the successor? I think he's more concerned about, like, the money issue than anything else. But anyway, overall, great episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now the question is, how much more of the story is left? I'm not too sure, but I can't wait to find out. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned next week for part 82. Until next time, bye. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Kaori Makoto, Revealing Storm, Jared Fan, Tequila Mockingbird, Izzy Ibo, Joel Oostman, Asborn Kennedy, Harry Gazif, Icognito, Locus Corollas, Wusing Chrysalis, and Zoran Ether.